What are the top 10 cards from Legacy of Destruction? Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out of that subscribe button. Lights one. Alright, so the pile decks are back. TCG got Colossus back. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to tell you about this. I've watched a Minerva go into a Minerva, go into a big old vampire, mill some cards, mill some more cards, draw some cards. It's honestly kind of impressive watching the fact that, you know, you can turbo into the Minerva into a zombie vampire for an additional mill for synergy. And then you combine it with like Lubellion and friends. Yeah, the Lights One cards are actually pretty freaking good. My only real consideration here is, are they going to stick around and be, you know, some major headliners, or is this just the hopes of the pile decks wanting to kind of come to fruition? Honestly, it's probably the pile decks wanting to have a little bit of fun. We've seen it time and time again out here where, you know, the pile decks will do something a little bit relevant, but we're starting there. Nightmare Magician. Now, for this card's potential is kind of unlimited. I didn't put Dia Blaze, or the Dia Bellstar card. I don't think makes it in the top 10 for this set because they're so good of cards, but I did put the Nightmare Magician on here because this is the universal searcher for everything that says illusion on it. And then it punts any card out of your hand to special summon itself, and then it replaces what you discarded. Like, oh no, you got ashed. That's a disappointment. But to make these cards that give you the chance to basically turbo through these options, be able to set up relatively easily for combo extensions, and, you know, still make the Chimera deck look a lot of fun. This is honestly good. And it's also basically for every future illusion deck coming here. This is going to be a card that you might need to consider because it's universally a searcher for essentially everything. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this card's price tag and going, wow. Next up's Reika. Hey, next set they get a potential draw 3 during an end phase, huh? Hand traps? Yeah, I too love setting up a huge board of insect plant looking friends, and then you're like, okay, so well, you're paywall between 2 secret rares in here, but those 2 secret rares are also for plants. I do think that the Reika stuff is worth picking up strictly because, well, it's generic. Alright, when you can make an archetype that literally powers up 3 individual types within the game, and then those 3 individual types all kind of need these cards, well, crap. They did a fantastic job at this. So, if you're an Ododic player, any insect variation under the sun, if you're a plant player, these are going to be things that you're going to be very happy to have and to be able to strengthen those strategies. And I think they did a fantastic job with the Reika cards as a whole. Strictly just because they're so generic. Next up is Centurion Axilla. This is, before you're like, wait, you're really putting the Centurion card so high up on the list? Yes, I am, actually. Because we still have Calamity. Because this card literally obsoletes Legatia. Like, not only do you get to, well, you can still put Primera back up, but it literally, we value the search for like a counter trap card, you know, whatever you need to toggle out of the deck, and then you put the Primera, or, you know, if you've already got the Primera crystalled for some reason, you can go ahead and crystal true. You have so many things that you can do with this card, and it's all about just the Crimson Dragon consistency all along the way. Yeah, that's why I'm putting the card so high on the list. Anytime that we can have a benchmark for degeneracy. Hi, Calamity. I'm so glad you're still here, buddy. Ah, yes. I can't wait. It's really going to be fun out here. Next up is the Melodious cards. So, honestly, I think the Melodious cards, just being the fact that they made 2 scales that were able to interact with Ostionato, that were able to basically clear a field so you could first movement solo, and the fusion card the fusion is everything to the deck. The fact that you can go, all right, let's go ahead and bounce, clear our entire field, and then go, all right, end phase, bring them all back. You also get a literal effect that lets you banish things from your opponent's graveyard as a quick effect. Do you understand how good it is to have a monster that banishes 3? Oh, it's once while it's on the field. Well, shame that the big fusion monster can bounce on out. Downside, stuff gets negate seed, wait seed. It happens. But these Melodious cards are truly something spectacular. So when you're looking at this stuff, give this some consideration. It's huge. And then we have Blessings of the Voiceless Voice. I did not put Saphira on this list. The new Saphira monster is a no-go from me. Blessings out here, though, giving you the ability to basically target a voiceless voice card's banished or in the graveyard and add it back to the hand. They got their Fabled Recursion. And then you can go ahead and use this thing as a ritual summon, basically if your opponent lets you meet the requirements for it, which I think is fine. That's literally all it does. But that one-of, just the ability for this deck to have access to this card, actually speeds up the deck a lot. I'm genuinely... Honestly, I'm surprised at how good this card is as a one-of. You would think, like, looking at the course of the deck, you'd be like, this might not be a card I'd consider, but the adding back from the banish pile is just kind of insane. And the additional ritual, okay, thank you, deck. I love the fact that we can turbo out all these ritual monsters all day long. And then we have Arutas, the final bringer of the end of times. It's a negate, a pop, another possible pop. It's also 2+ level 10s. So to be fair, if you're getting that many level 10s on the field and you're stacking that many underneath that thing and you're trying to get this insane value off of the card, I feel like you're trying to win more. But as a card that you bell out here can actually interact with and be able to make as a new extra deck card to I guess it depends on how the hand opens up, and sometimes they just need to get the stupid U-Bells off of the field. Sometimes there's too many of those guys on the field. Alright, you just got to be like, alright, we got to stick these underneath here so we can clear up a little bit of space so we can get them to the graveyard safely, and we'll be able to just start to be able to interact and play the game. It actually happens. That's the weird side of Arutas, but card's incredibly good. It's definitely not better than Baron. And then we have Where There's a Will. I hate this card name so much, but the thing with this card is it is a Pot of Prosperity on a field spell. It lets you excavate up to the number of cards your opponent controls, add one, put the rest back, plus another card from your hand. Now, I understand that this is a -1, but it doesn't take away from the cost of your extra deck. So you can still utility option away things from the extra deck for Pot of Prosperity. This card, I don't foresee it being more than a one-of in most decks. Actually, I think in all scenarios, I've only seen this card as a one-of. But having that potential milling for the future and actually for current card design, I love this thing. I think it's going to stick around as a very selective card, and it is going to be a very strong card for Yu-Gi-Oh! Nightmare Throne. Holy crap, yeah, this deserves its top spot out here. I didn't think that Konami could make a card to basically bridge the gap between all the U-Bell stuff. Let's also not forget here in the way future, when we do get Phantom of U-Bell, literally you can play a 5-card splash package in every deck, 3 Thrones, 1 Spirit, 1 base form U-Bell, and you essentially are just going to get rewarded on this thing. This card is nuts, and it's only going to get stronger in the future because of that future U-Bell stuff. And also, U-Bell is actually kind of a Tempai Dragon stopper, actually. If, you might not know this, but if Tempai Dragons get into a battle with U-Bell and they're like, woo, look at me floating out here, what are you going to do? Good luck. Actually, Tempai Dragons has a pretty bad U-Bell matchup. They can win it, but they have to know how. Like, that's going to be a lot of the war out here. And then, at the top of the list is Tempai Dragons. Cheap, affordable, $100 Tempai Dragon, some Heat Waves, maybe a couple stray extra deck options along the way. But what you're looking at here is cheap, affordable Yu-Gi-Oh! Minus the couple of the little notaries that I mentioned there. But I think the fact that they chose to make this so cheap makes it on the top of the cards list. Also, ignorant player or Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are going to be very ignorant to the fact that they're not going to know how to play against Tempai Dragons. They are going to get destroyed by this deck. And that's going to be a very huge problem. I do look forward to seeing how this deck will handle with the course of time. But for now, I think it's on the top of the list, just to see what happens. So, what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.